right, so in this one, we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends top 10 tier list for the Universe Rep campaign that is going on currently, that will be ending in this upcoming week. So the most finite thing we probably get would be like an LF equipped that'd be dropping, hey, maybe an Ultra buff. I don't even know who at this point, but maybe that could happen. Maybe even a Legend buff, which would be great. But we do have it here. Obviously, the newest release is Mr. Legend Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and we will see how he falls into the list. And just to mention the character, because he doesn't actually make the list. He's the Address Me tier, of course, because he needs to be addressed. This unit is shambolic. There is nothing redeeming about him in any capacity. His little 50 disrupt thing doesn't even matter half the time because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tag units existing in the game, or at least, 3 bare minimum they are fighting pretty consistently, so you just ignore that. Card cost upping, units are immune, like a UVB type thing, or just having that immunity within popping green cards or such and such and such and such from there, as well as he doesn't even do damage. This unit, numerically, it's been even calculated to where you have to use 2 cards for this guy for him to get to the modern numbers of the units above him. So within that, he actually just falters because he has no way of very consistently extending combos. So everything about this character, why do we even have this on? I don't need to listen to this shit. Everything about this character just dwindles and dwindles as you use him more. The Zenkai buffers even for him, you want to run him on reps, obviously, with like Jiren and then 17 Frieza. And Jiren's like a good honorable mention for this list, by the way. The yellow one. You want to run that team, but in turn, you kind of can't because your Zenkos get weird, where it's like a blast tag and defense in purple UI, and then you don't have any other Saiyans, so you can't do the Saiyan bench, and then this guy, again, he just makes everything worse. There's no redemption about this character. If you ever run him, you're going to run with, like, UVB and then 17 Frieza, and it's like, okay, here's UVB, like I did the video, and it's UVB being the fucking papa of the team. Here's the grandparents of 17 Frieza, and then it's Kaioken having his fucking thumb sucking and then thinking he's going to do something useful and usable besides trying to just, look cool. Like, he has cool aura, he has cool art, but, like, that's the best he's got. He's a shell of what he should be. It shouldn't even be a Goku that released here. It should have been God Topo Legend. Very, very much, obviously, with, like, Hakai, Health Store debuffs, really fuck over Broly, actually do something against Broly. But he's not good enough to mention against Broly, and that will make it in turn where Broly is stupidly still valuable, so yeah, no, I don't know what this guy's meant to be. I don't know. Like, the thing is, as well, our last Ultra Yellow was Namek Goku over a year ago. And we most likely will be getting a new Ultra Yellow within the next campaign on the 26th. So I don't know what the fuck we're looking for this guy. This is not a Triku vibe where Triku is, like, decent against UG4 and blah, blah. This guy's not even that good against Broly. Like, the differential is fucking incomparable. It's very brain dead. I don't know what he's supposed to do. I don't know. He fulfilled the Awakened equip that dropped when 17 Frieza dropped, and that's the best he's done since. Like, I couldn't tell you. He's just a weirdo, and I don't know what the fuck to say even about him further from that. And he's so bad that I actually consider within the actual top 10 Goku Bardock better. Yes, Goku Bardock do make the top 10 list. Being number 10, obviously you don't give a shit about these spots again. You could say Yellow Jiren, people would say Purple Cell, people would say maybe even this Revhon, even though he's like the most overglazed thing I've seen in my entire life for the existence of life. You could say Blue UI with A tier boost. I don't fucking like circumstantial shit. I don't know. Anything like that goes for these bottom tiers and whatever tiers. Shit, I could probably say this guy after using him within running him alongside the really shitty legend, the actual worst legend of all time now within this little guy. And hey, maybe you could have mentioned the King Bardock as well, but I will not be mentioning any of those. Goku Bardock, they're just very easy to make work for yourself. Obviously, their coloring makes it where you have a lot of units that have similar vibe of Broly, of Buu Duo, and even more so than that. To have the Zenka buffers be accessible to everybody from there as well. AoE green is AoE greening. You do have it where you can live the Spirit Bomb a little bit more effectively because the half green, kind of like 17 Frieza, where like maybe Broly might die. Goku Bardock kind of be like your little complex. They're not doing anything crazy in damage. They're just being kind of a nuisance and just being that, again, annoyance that can exist in a game. So nothing more to say about it. That doesn't really mean much, but they mean enough to make the list. So there's that for them. And then we get into, actually, I didn't even adjust this. This is actually going to be a shared tier here of 8 and 9 because I don't really know the differential between these units because they frankly don't mean much as well. The tier list, for majority of tier lists since this last couple months, only start to mean stuff. I mean, I'm looking at my own here. When you start to get to the top 4, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's just how, high tier the game is for those units and how power creeping we are within these big celebrations and what they've done, because it literally is just big celebrations and maybe just like an anomaly that makes it to the top tiers. And you probably know who it is anyways that makes it here. That's not from a celebration. But do go into it with it being 8 through 9 of Shallot and Rose Legend. Yes, this guy, again, he's just slowly falling down within Legend Rose because how the game works. You're operating at a super fast pace. It's kind of like a Kaioken vibe, actually. Given Legend Rose is just better than Kaioken because his infinite neutral settings, and that's really carrying him. That's carried him his entire fucking legacy since green units have been arriving to the game. But he's still holding on. He is, a couple months out from anniversary prior to, so him still being able to be argued top 10 is at least something more than nothing. But again, there's not much to say about these bottom tiers that you haven't heard already. He can do okay. He can look decent once you get decent settings for himself, but it's like you have to work harder for him than you have to work for anybody else on this list that's not placed yet. You have to work harder. Even Shallot works less difficult than Legend Rose. You literally just don't have to do anything. While, running Shallot, you do a strike card, you get your green cards, okay, area change, okay, rinse and repeat. UVB, you just fucking click. 17 Frieza, you just fucking click. Broly, you just stand there. Like everybody else, you just fucking autopilot. These units actually require you to do effort to use, and that's why he's down here, because he actually requires a little bit of effort as well. And the more effort, the worse you are. I mean, it's just as simple as it gets with a game like this, where you don't need to actually fucking play to win as time does progress. So Rose goes there. I mean, he's solid on a Future team. I don't think Future is necessarily a bad team within these three still. Still can't put up some work. Obviously, you could do this guy instead and make it better, but I definitely don't think Future is the worst of the worst teams. I don't see it get a lot of prop, but it is still, runnable at least. And then Shallot, number 8, again, he's obviously going to be worse than the green units here alongside himself, so there's just that. That's going to lower his value. But there's also no place for him to be. Again, he wants to be with UGB for a good minute there. UGB is now off boost, as well as Legend Broly, so like you might see it dwindling within those two on this list. And from there, it's not like Shallot's moving any mountains or has ever moved any mountains. He can't. He doesn't have the kit to move mountains. He's an RNG unit in an RNG game, and it's just going to be more insignificant than significant, his value every single time, because you are not relying on this character. Everyone else on this list, you're relying on. Even Legend Rose, you don't rely on that much, because you can just get your cards destroyed, and if you don't have the green card, guess what? You can't ignore that. Then boom, your combo potential that you get for him is just, booped out. Similar again to Kaioken. These two are not that far apart in their premises. It's just this guy is literally just worse numerics by a fucking far degree, and has, really, really shitty situational play for himself, even though he is easily one of the better elements in the game right now. There's only one fucking yellow on this list. I don't know what what this guy is meant to be. He's just a fucking loser, honestly. Then moving on, it's actually a pretty big fall off here for me. UGB number 7, and no, I don't think it's just just because of the tier boost. I think it's actually an amalgamation of things. Again, the game just kind of quickens every single time, and I think every time that happens, you feel the slowness of these slower characters more often than not. UGB for me, I just easily prefer running Gohan Trunks. If I have Gohan Trunks get to a decent setting for themselves, I'm not even talking optimal, I'm just talking decent, they're going to outburst UGB 10 out of 10 times in a day. 14 star to 14 star, Zenkai buff to Zenkai buff, like 1 to 1, 2 to 2, whatever. You get that for yourself so easily. And then if matches ended quickly, which if you run like these two together and you selfish optimize them, for setting like UVB the first 30 counts, boom, he's just slaying everything. After 30 counts, he gets a little worse. Then you get Gohan Trunks slaying everything, and it's like, okay, the match ended before this guy could even get a really good Stardust Fall moment. And it's just accelerating from there within all these units. This unit is helping you get more damage inflicted for your team, so that's accelerating this happening, or the Boo Duo getting their acceleration of losing into winning faster, or Broly kind of slowing the game down, but also in turn accelerating the Boo Duo, because you could force Boo Duo happening, and then Broly happens, and then boom, they're in hell because they can't really start us fall who they want. Or even this guy spamming blue cards, because you get that so easily from just having all his blue cards he creates within having the gauge, which you'll have pretty consistently. So UGB, it's not his own fault. It's just how the game's going. Time is going faster. You're not really going to timers most games, and if you are, it's really, really an anomaly. So I don't think, again, it's any issue with UGB's design. He's still very good. He's just not helped. Kaioken should have been ranged. God Topo, if he were released, should have been ranged. These units should have been helping instead of hurting or just not even doing anything for this Ultra, who literally got nothing. Like, this is not a buff. These two are not a buff. Like, it's not. It's trying. it's a failure. It's like, this guy's meant to counter this guy. Well, he's not, so it's a failure. These are failure releases. Even if you're top 10, you're still a failure in the regard you want to be, Shallot. It's the same thing for Kaioken being a failure to hurt Mr. Broly, because his clear intent is to hurt Broly, and he falters in that most times. And even then, if he does do well against it, he falters against the rest of the game, so it doesn't fucking matter. So UGB just has to move down. There's just nothing there for him that's really just going to be your best setting. You know, when he first released, you saw the more timer setting because of Broly, and you're seeing, you know, TGB get his butt. Said TGB. UGB has to go down because you're seeing Broly being as good as he is within the timer setting. You see TGB good as he is even against red units, and he kind of had that existing more, but now you have a support unit that's kind of coexisting alongside this, and you had the first burst and better first better burst blast damage and strike damage that's going on from 17 Frieza because the overall support, and you're gonna run 17 Frieza on leader slot a lot, so again, just kind of the movement of PvP is faster. It's not like people play faster, but what happens is just gonna be like a snap instead of where it is just like a slow burn sometimes. So UGB's got to go down for a ways, but again, he should rise up. I mean, I would not expect him to stay down for a long time. I expect something, just something, some Godaki thing that's arranged and just says, UGB, come back, and guess what? He comes back up. But then we move into number 6 of it being TGB. It's kind of weird. I guess you could alternate. I think 5, 6, 7 also could be maybe all arguably changed, but I would have them in these preferential spots. For me, these are the spots I'd place them, but if you want to, like, say 5, 6, 7 are all changeable, sure. But TGB would be 6 for me. He's still doing the very simplicity thing he's doing. It's not like Kaioken hurts him. I guess he would help him if Kaioken was good because, you know, purple and yellow, how math works. But TGB, he's still tanking red units like it's nothing. Even, like, if you're looking at these units that aren't placed yet, you would say TGB is probably the second best tank against UVB. And that's just a stupid statement because it shouldn't be accurate, but it is. He just has a stat spread to make it work. He has a defense neutral that's very long to make it work. So you're running like these two together, you actually can do a pretty good job against UVB. Even if he does have his ultimate, you have the cancel buff effects from Broly and from TGB. So running that duo ship alongside the Buu duo, alongside UVB himself, alongside Gohan Trunks, or alongside whatever, it still works out effectively. You don't even need to design kill out this guy a lot. 1x is perfectly fine. And again, this is a unit that just kind of retains. It's very hard to make this guy fall off because it's just like Legend Rose, but a defensive Legend Rose. This has the infinite feeling, defense neutral, it has infinite feeling, offense big move neutral, and it's worse for this guy because big moves are just getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed every single update. But for defense neutral, it's very much easier to argue a character because guess what? You just can't remove it. It's unremovable defense neutral, and even if there's reds popping off, unless their numerics are stupidly high, like a UVB, but even higher than UVB, this guy won't fall down. He just will retain in a good spot, if not always just top 10, probably until Festival. I would say it's pretty easy for this guy to be there, especially because we got so many red buffs recently. I don't expect another red buff to happen anytime soon. Like, if we get another red soon, I'm in dismay because we've gotten you, we got Shin, we got Red Broly, we got you, we got Topo, who's, you know, whatever, we got Dispo the God. We got so many, bro. Like, we're done. We're done. Like, give us other elements. We obviously need a new yellow ultra, like I said. We're probably going to get a new green unit sometime soon, you know, within the next, like, 2-3 months, because there's only, like, a half green, so they don't really consider that. They like to do that weird thing where it's like, oh, it's only a half that. So that's why we just gave a purple after this purple was dropped. It's, like, only a half purple, right? A red buff after a half red just dropped. They keep doing that, so we're going to get different elements, and this guy should just keep going up and up and up. Nothing crazy up here, I would assume, but, you know, if he hits here, I wouldn't be shocked, or even here at best, but retaining this area for, you know, TGB would not be a shock, this 4 through 8 spot. So very good release of his buff, and hopefully he just continues on because he deserves this. It's actually giving stock to a character that was shit, which Red Broly wishes he had. Fortunately, he does not because we got so many fucking good reds. And then going into, I actually say this most controversial take I have so far on this list, and the only one, honestly, with it being number 5, Gohan Trunks. Again, I mentioned it to UGB, just a 1-to-1 damage. I prefer running Gohan Trunks, and I think Gohan Trunks is definitely a more slept-on character, because nothing really is haltering them doing what they want to do. Yeah, you could say the Buu duo could disrupt them like Kaioken can. Save your tag switch for that timing. You could even burst down with Gohan Trunks on the Buu duo. Like, they just stack that fucking much damage inflicted. And even from there, and I mentioned the duo ship of these two, and it's maybe not the perfect duo ship, clearly, but maybe you have, you know, Broly there, or you have I don't know, TGB or something of a safety merit, even fucking argue this little shit, Goku Bardock, or even 17 Frieza, and just kind of force it to work. And some amalgamation, and you have a super, super greedy team where this guy first 30 counts just fucks everybody. And it's just like you're running a better Kaioken Goku, actually, because this unit is really fucking dominant on the offense. Nothing really stops him, especially if you get overdrive, which you just sit there, be a dickhead and farm, and you don't have to do anything. You literally incentivize to just charge like an idiot. There's no play they can do against you besides kick, which you know obviously dodge a kick, and then if you dodge a kick, then you get a combo started. So you have a freebie. I don't feel like there's actually much negative to running this unit. The units that would be good against them, looking at the elements of red, purple, you know, blue, you're not tanking, you are just barely existing, and you don't tank either, especially against Gohan Trunks. And then you look at the yellow, and it's like, yeah, no, you're definitely solid, but I would say the commonality of TGB and how effective you can be against them isn't as prominent in this setting, because you would have another red on this team, and you would have, let's say, Legend Broly. Then you just leader slot, try to force future fusion, and then just mix the two, and then boom, you're home free. So I think Gohan Trunks definitely are a bit underrated. They definitely are better than people impression them, and they should be used more because they would actually give you a lot better presence and pressure in matches where the only pressure you have right now is like these automatic mechanics. Gohan Trunks give pressure from cards, and you just spam. You don't think, you just fucking spam. So a lot of pressure applied from them, especially in an early game setting where some units are, you know, lacking of like these two are lacking early game. You're arguably lacking. You're peaking, but like still, you would still use them together because in that mid to early game, these units are still lacking, right? These guys are still lacking within that timing. So even you are lacking, So there's a lot of units that just don't do as much early game. And if I keep mentioning that the game is going quicker than it's been, then this unit would be more valuable, which in my eyes it is. But then move on into another actually tied spot. This is very difficult for me to separate because I feel like both are very important. And I will also say, like I said already, the shared tier of 4/3 and moving up to number 1 is actually where the game starts to matter and the units start to matter. Of it being 17 Frieza and, okay, up there, and Broly. Yes, 17 Frieza. You are seeing them everywhere, but I think in turn you're also seeing Broly everywhere. Just to mention on Broly, obviously he does not lose stock. 17 Frieza do not lose stock. Kaioken is a fucking loser, like I keep mentioning. So that's not even an applicable situation. Within Broly, though, he is losing boost, so I can see him being a little bit worse off. Usually defensive units feel that more than offense units because you usually just stack a lot of damage inflicted with characters nowadays. Like UVB, if he had boost and he lost it, you would not feel that, right? It just isn't a thing because he has so much damage stacking. But like TGB losing boost when he did, he got hurt, right? People mentioned it, people noticed it, but Red Broly losing boost, it was more like, oh, he just replaced. He's not actually losing like significant damage, it feels like. And this guy being a defensive type unit and wanting to, you know, stopping this guy and stopping these others, I could really just beat the shit out of you real quickly. He has to be argued to be lower than 17 Frieza, if not tied to them. And in turn, again, I feel like most matches you're fighting a 17 Frieza or a Broly. So it more becomes, okay, is 17 Frieza more valuable because their support and their disruption, and even then you can run them together to get like a guaranteed disrupt. What's more valuable, Broly's disruption or 17 Frieza's support? You could argue either way, in my opinion, because you say 17 Frieza support, okay, well, now you're doing this and you're amplifying him because 17 Frieza, and now UVB, if you see him being the best and then you're amplifying him more, well, then you're guaranteeing him to be the best, right? Or if you're saying, like, oh, a little bit more slow burn of the Buu duo, technically a little bit more slow burn, well, then having it where you have Broly to kind of slow them down a little bit more so would be more arguable for Broly to be better in this situation, right? So it is what your preferential is to what your number 1 is. If my number 1 is UVB, I would have 17 Frieza. And then obviously I'm referring to that is going to be my number 1 of UVB. So I have it where it's this. Broly, again, he's not bad. You know, he's number 4. Clearly he's not fucking bad. But he does take a bit of a hit due to just losing that boost. 17 Frieza giving that faster gameplay and that faster just, you're incentivized to be faster and do things quickly. It just makes it where I feel as though they're just more valuable sometimes, if not more times than not. And there's not much more to say on them. I feel like I described everything last time I did a list within them, so it's just more so. Again, they help you accelerate the game, and the game's already at a faster setting for these units that really can dominate, and this is the main one of UVB, so that's where I see it. And you can see a lot of settings where Broly just loses endurance from UVB spam, Like, they do 2 cards, they go to Broly after, like, on the second card, then UVB spams, like, 4 strikes. There's some support from there, though. And then, boom, UVB just pops Broly's endurance, and it's like, Broly without endurance at that point, it just gets spooky. And you'll see that more times than you'll see, like, 17 Frieza dwindling you from doing that. They'll always help you more than they'll hurt you. Broly, you can see spots where he'll hurt you because you won't have that safety merit that you're really relying on if you get kind of spammed out early on, which can happen pretty frequently. And then the top 2, as I mentioned, my number 1 being UVB, so that means Buu Duo and UVB, 2 and 1. Buu Duo, I don't know what this narrative is of recent that's like they've fallen off. I don't know, bro. I mean, they're a blue, and then there's fucking 4 greens on this list. You know, at least 2 half greens, yeah, but 4 greens on this list, and it's like, I mean, they're spirit bombing, and like, even if they don't kill on a spirit bomb, you could definitely pressure to like force other situations. Like, their spirit bomb isn't even like the most incentive part of them. I feel like the pressure these things create are the incentives. The pressure of Broly's gauge is his incentive, not even his gauge necessarily. Right? People will stop hitting you sometimes. It's a bad play, but they'll stop doing that because that pressure. UGB, Stardust Fall, Buu Duo, Spirit Bomb, just the presence of it is what scares people. You know, seeing that even pop to where it's going to start going to Spirit Bomb animation, that scares people into doing silly things. And I feel like that pressure itself applies a lot. The damage they do is still fine. Their disrupt, again, it's mediocre because, again, tag unit, tag unit, tag unit. Unit can be immune to this. You time UVB's gauge to be immune to this. Like, you double cordial speed, like, you know, you could ignore it. It's okay, their disrupt. I'd actually say it's pretty mid. I actually say it's worse than his disrupt because they really don't do too much besides after the first 3 cards. I'm talking that 50 disrupt. It's really not that much of incentive. But in turn, still, the damage he does, the Zenkai buffs, the team, the variety, everything there is just so free. And all it is, it's just worse than UVB, which, to mention UVB, obviously, nothing has changed. He's gotten help, I guess you could say, of Kaioken, which he does not care about, and he just, you know, fucking babysitting him. But nothing changes. His damage is overly buffed. He is clearly the best. This is not like a close thing. You cannot argue Buu Duo number 1. It is just straight out UVB because that first 30 counts. The game's quick. You pop Broly. You know, he's the weakest state when the game starts. Boom. You pop that Broly, and then everything goes shambles for someone running a team like this. And this is a team that has 2 blues, and this guy could make it where that team is shambles. He's probably the only unit in the game right now that makes this team struggle. It literally is only him. This team will be annoying as fuck against any other unit in the game, but the red is making it where this team is not feeling as, like, annoying. Even though it is annoying, it's not feeling that bad. And it's just a little bit of timing of, like, just don't fuck over yourself within Buu Duo's disrupt and everything like that, which you can literally just click 3 cards somebody else, go to UVB, drop combo, and then boom, you're home free, and then you just ignore Buu Duo, then you just start popping motherfuckers left and right. So if he's doing that to them, he's doing that to the entire game, and that's just what UVB's been doing. And, I mean, again, there's not much to go into depth on a lot of these characters because this list has not changed in much capacity since the previous. I mean, I guess upping Gohan Trunks and a little bit of things, but again, in a big capacity, no. It should have, because what the fuck are you doing? But you ain't doing shit. You're a purple legend failure. You're pulling a Diamond 3-Ku and you're looking worse than him. You're fucking pathetic. You are a fucking pathetic shit. But nonetheless, my top 10 list for the middle of August / the Universe Rep campaign. And hey, maybe the LF, you know, buff, whatever it is, Zenkai, Pla, whatever the fuck we get, Ultra, whatever, who knows, can be something significant. I doubt it, but we'll see. Can make this be a little emergency tier list upcoming, but for now, it'll be UVB number 1, Buu Duo number 2, number 3/4 being Legend Frieza and 17, as well as Legend Broly, number 5 being Legend Gohan Trunks, number 6 being Legend Limited Goku Black, number 7 being Ultra Gogeta Blue, number 8 being, and 9 rather, being Legend Shallot and Legend Rosé, number 10 being Legend Limited Goku Bardock, and the loser of the room is you, Kaioken. What do you guys think of my top 10 tier list? I'll see you guys in the next one.